looks like they're so proud of themselves. But especially when they're making a terrible point, it's just so embarrassing. So Tim Walz has a daughter. Hope Walz is her name. And we covered on the morning show this original sort of exchange where a TikTok was posted by Hope Walz about the rise of Zohran Mamdani and saying, listen, even if there's plenty of things you disagree with him on, it is very important that Democrats understand actually presenting meaningful policies that are changed, not just, okay, we're going to tweak the status quo, but would really meaningfully change the lives of working class folks, and that challenge the status quo, and that bring in excitement to them, and often are really popular policies. That's how you're going to change. You're going to swing the pendulum, right? It's not going to be just what you've been doing before with a different face, with a different younger person, right? You got to bring with it something that excites people. That's a pretty basic point. And Laura Ingraham was just really condescending towards Tim Walz's daughter. So we'll look at that original coverage from the morning show, and then I'll show you Hope Walz's response, which was good. So here's what I talked about in the morning show. Make sure you're tuning into it 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Good times. And then we'll look at Hope Walz's response to Laura Ingraham's take. You have Hope Walz, who is the daughter of Tim Walz, and Hope Walz made a point on social media, and then Laura Ingraham was like, "Man, sweetie, maybe don't speak about politics, sweetie. Us smart people need to figure this out." But the point that Hope makes is perfect, because I just want to keep saying, I've heard certain things that Zohran said that I disagree with plenty. And I don't like, given that in the broader context of global politics, it doesn't even apply whenever people who are just kind of like progressive label themselves as democratic socialists. I get why they do it because it's distinguished, but that does make people think of socialism, right? As opposed to just some social reforms that are within a capitalistic system, and we're not going to go full socialism, right? And everyone knows that who has a head tightened on, but it's easier for them to fearmonger whenever you actually define yourself as that. And then again, some particular policy I disagree with. I just don't think they're pragmatic. But plenty of the things he's laid out are just so uncontroversially popular and good. And in terms of his policies that he's pushing for New York. And I think that was the point from Hope Walz here.
I know it might surprise some people, but feeding kids lunch, providing childcare, having accessible and functional public transportation, among many other things, are popular policies everywhere. They're popular everywhere.
You just lost about 100,000 brain cells by watching that soundbite. Sweetie, if they were popular everywhere, Trump would not be president.
What the hell was that?
Laura, you are so irritating. You just lost 100. What's her? How do I do her? Let's see. Like, how do I do her accent? Not accent, an impression of her. Honey. Let's see. Honey, I just lost 100,000 brain cells listening to that. No, I can't do it. What? Laura, there are so many clips of people saying funky things that you could. Also, before I get to addressing it, they say we put them down. They say that we kind of speak like we're high and mighty. Liberals, they talk down to us. That's why we had to vote for Trump. I just feel like they're so pretentious and they're like always thinking that they know more. She just said someone pointing to the fact that what were the things? Feeding kids lunch, providing childcare, accessible and functional public transportation are popular policies everywhere. That caused you to lose 100,000 brain cells, and that if those things were true, then Trump wouldn't have won. Well, then you are the one making us lose brain cells, Laura. If you don't know that two things can be true, individual policies can poll very well, and candidates who don't advocate for those policies can still win. Because networks like yours go trans. Migrant. Trans migrant. Who's a drag queen also. And so then people don't focus on the fact that indeed Trump won despite not supporting very popular things. Which let's watch this again. Feeding kids. Okay, you tell me, Laura, Mrs. I'm so smart. You tell me, which one of these policies is unpopular to one American?
I know it might surprise some people, but feeding kids lunch, providing childcare, having accessible and functional public transportation, among many other things, are popular policies everywhere. They're popular everywhere.
You just lost about 100,000 brain cells by watching that sound, but sweetie, if they were popular everywhere...
Don't call her sweetie. Don't call her sweetie. So, what's the word when you put something down? It's demeaning. Right? Or there's another word. It's
patronizing?
Patronizing. Yes. What's another one? Let's keep throwing them out. It's, there's still the one. There's the one that I want and I can't get it. It's okay. I'll think of it.
If they were popular everywhere, Trump would not be president. Nevertheless.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything about politics. That's not how politics works. For a very long time, universal health care has polled a majority. Minimum wage increases polled a majority. Paid family leave, child care, universal child care. And still those things don't get passed because of our system. And people voting, they want those things in a vacuum, but then they vote for politicians because they're scared of the drag queens. Or there's a real problem, like Biden doing good things over here on a lot of domestic policy got overshadowed by the fact that he was seen as failing on immigration, right? However much you agree or disagree with such an argument. But no, Hope Walz is exactly right. So the sweetie that you're talking to knows a hell of a lot more than you, apparently, because those are all very popular policies. But huge propaganda outlets convince you to worry about things that aren't those issues. Yeah, so as you could see there in my coverage before, I cringed a lot watching Laura Ingraham go, "Oh, okay, sweetie," to Hope Walz, especially because she was just not correct about her argument. I didn't cringe as much as when I saw this photo of Piers Morgan and Elon Musk. Piers posted this with "Happy birthday, Elon," and let me put it this way: if I were invited on this boat, which I wouldn't be, but let's imagine, I would bring with me a non-resuscitation form just to make sure. So I don't want to die on the boat, but if I did, I don't want to be resuscitated. I don't want to have to wake up to Elon Musk giving me chest compressions with that look on his face. Does that make sense? Okay, so I cringed at Laura Ingraham, but not as bad as that photo. So here is Hope Walz's response to Laura Ingram's take there.
So apparently Laura Ingraham from Fox News had a segment about my TikTok talking about embracing popular progressive policies. I only know this because a mutual of mine posted about it. You couldn't pay me any amount of money to consume any of their content, but I saw that. I can also typically tell when cult members come in my comments and call me horrible names. But yeah, apparently she had a whole segment about it, and I come away with that feeling sad for her. Like, genuine sadness that there are people that are willing to come on national TV and just with their whole chest admit that they don't care about feeding kids or helping people get to work or providing childcare for people that are reproducing and creating our country and world's future. Like, genuinely, I feel sad. I don't know how you go through your day just not caring about other people. Also, if you actually watch the video, the point went right over Miss Laura's head. Like, the polling is there. A lot of these issues are largely popular and or could be largely popular. The left just needs to message it, and that was what I was saying. And I don't know if it was on purpose or Who knows? But it went right over her head. Like, they always go to the most, like, typical, like, comeback, and it's just so boring. But yeah, I genuinely feel sad for her. Get well soon, Laura. It must be a miserable life, truly.
Hope! Whoa! Yes! That was perfect. Because I was trying to think if that were me, what the best response would be. Because the condescension, which I just want to circle back to it, they say we're condescending to them, and Laura Ingraham's response to Hope going, I think people like food, childcare, was, okay, sweetie, maybe you let the grown-ups talk about politics. Right? How do you respond? If you respond ranting, she kind of gets what you want. If you respond just, triggered, I guess. You don't want to be that. But then do you just go through and argue the merits again? But that's sort of like, I'm sad for you. It's almost countering condescension with justified condescension, right? So it's responding to the unjustified condescension from Laura Ingraham with, oh, Laura, I don't even, no, I'm not even arguing. No, really, you're sad. You make me sad for you. Get well. What is it like? No. Like, really? No, seriously. What is it like, Laura, being so pitiful? What is it like not caring about starving children? Weird. Like, just kind of pondering it pseudo-authentically. Like, I can't even imagine what it's like to not care when people don't have health care. That's weird. Strange. It's good. I mean, it's correct, though. It's good for social media because it's very effective, but it's also correct, which is that obviously Laura Ingraham would say, I just think that not providing the school lunch is better because then kids learn how to provide for themselves. And that's actually better for, like, she wouldn't think that she doesn't care about kids in schools getting food. She wouldn't think that she doesn't want people to have childcare. She would say it's just better if the free market or whatever. And public transportation, sure, can be fine, but we don't have the money. So she would have arguments that wouldn't just be, I don't care about those things. But that, I don't think she cares. And that is sad. I think about that with people. I told you all the story before when I argue with someone. I'm not saying this is anyone who I disagree with. It's a small subset, I'm sure, but somebody literally told me, even if I could save them money through a healthcare system, hypothetically, a healthcare system that was more cost efficient, but also provided healthcare to everybody, and the person responded with, I would rather pay more, but know that none of my tax dollars are going to help others than pay less and other people also have healthcare. Crazy specific story, and I'm not saying that's everyone who believes that we privatize healthcare systems better, right? It's just a different opinion, but there are some people. And I have to be honest, I don't want to psychoanalyze, but let me just quickly do it for a second because I want to. I don't think Laura Ingraham cares. She gives off those vibes, someone who just, wait, I don't care. That's her response. I don't care. Wait, what if we could create a system that allowed for people to more easily get to where they're going, more cost effectively? Kids could have food at school, and children would have safe and effective childcare, and we'd have a large child tax credit for folks who are raising families and we want to support families. And it's just sort of, nah. Can we just go back to it one more time? The whole point Hope was making was that Democrats aren't as popular as the policies they should be advocating for. And Hope is right. It went right over Laura Ingraham's head. Or she didn't care. No. The reason Trump, you're right, Laura, the reason Trump won is not because those policies aren't popular, but because Democrats didn't advocate for them effectively enough or push back against the distraction from those policies, and some of them weren't even advocated by the presidential ticket. So that's the point she's making, which is that if Democrats could stand by and be more strong and aggressive in advocating for the policies that they would seemingly support, they would be much better off than some of the weird politicking that we see from many Democratic politicians. So very strange exchange, but good for Hope Walz there.